Hello and welcome to episode 5. This is Conundrum Contingencies. My name is Reverend Garland Davis and I'll be your host. And I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about general preparedness. I'm here in sunny Florida and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's coming up on 80 something degrees. Sun is shining and everything's good. I got my coffee and I'm cruising in the Benz and life is basically good. Um, so now about this general preparedness thing, because if you've taken a look at the paper, the internet, or whatever your primary means of news is, even just word of mouth, you'll know that the world is not what it was yesterday. Is deteriorating, is crumbling like an old cookie. So you should prepare yourself. Now is the time to make sure your knife is sharpened. And I'm on my way to the beach to go fishing. Now, if you're a fisherman like I am, now might be a good time to break some of those rods down and to get the sand or crud or the dirt out and oil them up some. Same thing for your weapons. Because once you're under stress and you need your gear, that's not the time to do the maintenance on the items. You want to do maintenance on your equipment when the sun is shining, not in the middle of the night. You don't have to try to find a rag under pressure. You don't have to try to find the gun oil and that which you need under pressure. It'll probably just be too much for you. Somebody close to me said they originally did not want a gas mask. Now, you kind of have to make up your mind before the sky turns green. Everybody starts choking whether or not you want to, get a gas mask or even get a couple of dust masks. I used to bug some from the VA, but they sell them at the dollar store, so now I guess it's not really necessary. But life is like a game of chess. What makes for a good chess player? Is it just strategy? Is it just tactics? Knowing all the rules of the game? All that's important. But anticipation makes for a really good chess player. If you can anticipate the next move that your opponent's going to make, you'll be all the better for it. And it won't knock the wind out of yourselves. If you know you're going to lose your queen, then you can start planning a couple of moves ahead for that. Or maybe you're setting up a queen sacrifice. Everybody has a different strategy. You can't face every opponent just going in guns blazing. Okay, I'm gonna line up the bishop, I'm gonna line up my queen and just put pressure. What happens if they come through with queen's gambit decline? What if they don't want to sacrifice that pawn? Is that all you got? You really need to think about that. Now, a couple of days ago, some radiation pills came in, and I don't know. By the time I get to the point where I have to worry about my thyroid and iodine and all that kind of nonsense, that's probably going to pretty much be the beginning of the end. But at least since I have a few radiation pills, that gives me an option. It gives me a little bit of a luxury, but that doesn't mean that it's really going to make that much difference. But better to have the radiation sickness pills and not need them than to need radiation sickness pills and not have them, because it's not like they sell those everywhere. It's not like I can just go to 7-Eleven when people are lining up outside the store and hope there's going to be a bottle left when I finally get there. I got some extra fuel outside the house. Got my fuel stabilizer. I typically keep a lot of tools in the car. I like to help people, but when the rain's coming down and you got to flat it, and if you don't have a jack and the necessary tools in your car to deal with the problem, either you're stuck like Chuck, or you're going to have to pay somebody through the nose, or you maybe sit there for 45 minutes with the hood in the trunk until some good Samaritan finally stops. But that's going to happen less and less frequently in the world that we live in. Now's the time to get the tires rotated on your car and check the fluid levels and the radiator. gallon of antifreeze might cost you $20 in the end times. So we better have an extra gallon of radiator of the antifreeze now than wait until everybody starts suffering and there's lines, going from the local Walmart all the way to Mississippi. You don't want to wait until then. So I want you guys to take care of each other, love one another, and just be smart. I saw Viking Preparedness the other day, and he was talking about, the youth and SHTF, and he's right. You can't always take it for granted and assume that somebody's doesn't pose a threat just because they're young or they're old or they're this or they're that. I remember somebody tried to rob an elderly friend of mine, and I stopped the robbery, but I held back because the guy was only 17. But another one of my friends told me that, I might have saved the guy's life if I had just brought the thunder, and maybe the youth would have been a changed young man. That's something to think about. I think I did the right thing, but I really wanted to break the guy's back because he could be out working instead of trying to rob senior citizens. So I'm almost to the beach, and hey, I'm really looking forward to it. I hope that I get a few drum, or maybe that elusive sheephead that I've never been able to get. There's a lot of catfish in the water too. I like catfish, but there's a little bit of risk because the skin is, not very desirable, semi-poisonous, whatever. And I remember I caught one, I cleaned it, and then I left one fin on there, and it got me after it was dead, and I didn't get all of it out. I thought I had got all of it out. It was sore for over a week, and then I dug in there with some tweezers, and there was a little bitty piece of fin left, and I made a full recovery, but plus catfish are kind of slimy. Good eating. If I had a choice between just a bowl of top ramen and rice or eating fried catfish, guess which one I would pick? But, even back when I was in Kansas City and people were eating buffalo and catfish and a few shellfish, I said, you know what, there's got to be better fish out there. I just knew it. I like bluegill, but bluegill a little bit on the small side, but, I'm sure bluegill will be a welcome change come SHTF or WROL. Now, I've noticed that a lot of preppers don't give two damns about spices, which means that in the end times, there are going to be a lot of people eating a lot of boring and bland food. I saw the Prepared Mind, and he was talking about some kind of butter that he had stocked up that didn't require refrigeration. Now that sounds like a man that was going to, I think John's going to be eating pretty damn well when the end comes, because he's already thinking ahead. His coffee and his food are going to taste pretty much the same way that they do now. So I always have, extra oregano and cayenne and hot sauce and salt, and I pack hot sauce, salt, and different things in my bug-out bag. Maybe if you don't want to spend the money for extra spices, maybe next time you go to Taco Bell or Pizza Hut, throw a little bit of that Parmesan or the red pepper, the salt and pepper, a couple of packets of sugar in your bug-out bag. I can't really strongly recommend sugar because sugar is probably going to draw ants, but maybe since it's probably not going to matter anyway when everything goes up in smoke, maybe a little aspartame, get the little diet packs. Go for the yellow ones and the blue ones. To hell with those red ones. I've never been a fan of sweet and low, but Equal's okay. And the stuff that they put in the yellow package is good, but the stuff they put in the green package is awesome. I think I need a little bit more coffee. I can't remember the names for all those products, but I hope you guys can see these palm trees coming up. And if you're in the Midwest and you've never seen a palm tree up close, I highly recommend that you hightail it to sunny California or Florida or even someplace in the Gulf as soon as you can afford it. spend 3 or 4 days down here and see how the other side of the world is, you know. I mean, I've caught stingray, and stingray wasn't the tastiest fish that I ever had, but in the SATF situation, you know, I could have traded that stingray for something else. Or I could have did like I did and just cut the wings off and, you know, throw the rest of the garbage. But the guts do make excellent bait. You know, any fish that you clean, you'll at least bring in a crab, or you bring in a catfish, or any other bottom feeder. You know, bottom feeders aren't all that, but hey, if you need meat, you need meat. You know, in Miami, Florida, and a few other places, they got wild chickens running around in the big city, and you can pop them, or set up a snare, or trap them, or even run them down. You know. But if you're in every other major city, any other urban city, you don't have chickens at the bus stop. You know, I heard they got people picking up those chickens, but they weren't, you know, I don't think they did a very damn good job, because I saw them everywhere. You know, I was like, is this Calcutta or is this Florida, you know? But I don't live in Miami anymore, and I got mixed feelings about the city, but that's neither here nor there. You know, all you can do is take care of you and make some good decisions. Make some good decisions about your home, firearms, and try not to take too many chances, because there are people out there looking for victims. You know, locks keep honest people honest. It's natural to be tempting, but it takes a thug or criminal to act, you know, on a temptation. You know, yeah, you see a beautiful woman or a handsome man, it's natural to be tempted. You know, but do you give them your phone number? You know, do you move in? Do you flirt? That's up to you. You know, it'd probably be better if you did, especially if you're married. But you know, it's natural to be tempted, so don't beat yourself up about being a human being. And here we are at the legendary St. John's Pass. I'm just gonna park. I'm not gonna put any money in the meter. That's just a racket. Looks like not too many people here, but us city workers and us retirees. Go Navy. Thumbs up if you're a K-State Wildcat like me, or any kind of Wildcat. Few people out here. Won't be quite as easy to park. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to prepare. Take a good look at the word. And remember, Bugs Bunny says tragedy, but if you don't prepare, it's going to end up in tragedy, and you'll be left holding back. So until next time, this is Garland. Thanks for tuning in to Conundrum Contingencies, and I'm going to give you a good shot of the beach, and I'm out.